Hey there, Tennessee fans. Welcome to another episode of Tennessee Fan Talk, where your Vols are ranked 8th, 4-0, had a decent win over last week. We're going to go over that, a little bit that, went on around the SEC, and how we're going to do after the bye week, in which we so desperately need. All that and more. This episode of Tennessee Fan Talk. Get on in here.
Hey, Vols fans. Welcome to Tennessee Fan Talk, the show that is by Tennessee fans for Tennessee fans and your source for hilarious weekly updates on everything Volunteers. And now for the moment you've been waiting all week for, here is Brandon Bird and the Duke.
Hey, guys. Welcome in. If you haven't already, look down below, click that little subscribe for us. We would appreciate that. Little like, notify, when these things come out. There's not that many. We don't blow you up with the dislike. Check out our social media wherever you are. We are at TN Fan Talk. That's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All the same. Keep it easy. Why make things complicated? As always, you got the Duke over here with us.
I'm back.
And returning special guest, the Florida guy whose name, which I didn't put on screen, but it is Billy Napier has to go.
That's a quick one.
We have Tito.
Welcome to Tennessee. You might as well be a Tennessee fan.
Hey, I'm on the bandwagon of how the hell he got the job in the first place.
Who else are you going to get? You didn't want Lane Kiffin. Bottom line, you didn't want Lane Kiffin.
I wanted the Lane train to come.
Hey,
I wanted Kiffin. I can't speak for all Florida fans, but I wanted the Lane train.
Lane Kiffin has the best hoodie I've ever seen. It says "Transfer to the SIP." It doesn't say come to us. It says transfer
to the SIP.
Hey, I will say this about Kiffin. I love watching the guy every week because he looks more and more like he's falling apart every week. He looks rougher and rougher every week.
He's just waiting for his stock and Jack Daniels to go up. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah. He is hitting the sauce hard, and he is probably visiting the sorority houses. He's living life to the full.
He's already got his backup plan after he quits coaching. He's just going to get into social media managing for somebody because he's like A++
really
troll on the planet.
He's good at that.
I'm telling you, I'm saying this now. I think Lane Kiffin will be the next head coach at the University of Florida in the next couple of years.
I think he should have been. They wasn't throwing up the money. Instead, they wanted to go to Sunbelt Billy, which brings me to a little text messaging over the weekend, guys. Just a little bit of messaging. We get ones from Brad that's saying they're going to lose.
I do it on purpose. You're welcome.
Tennessee's going to lose. And then after that, Luke and I get talking, and we talk about here local boys, MTSU, stomping Miami. And,
dude, that was a railroad job.
3 turnovers in the first 7 minutes. It was insane. And
first time MTSU has ever beaten a ranked opponent. And they got paid to do it.
Love it.
So
love it.
That's off to Middle Tennessee.
So we're making fun of Miami, of course, and he says, at least they don't have the dumbest coach in the country. What kind of dipshit goes for 2 in the third quarter? And my response is that easy, a coach that looks like an ex-con for stealing from a church communion plate, old Sunbelt Billy. And he said, yeah, he may actually be retarded.
Say that word. You can't say that word.
Hey, if the shoe fits.
I am reading. I'm physical. Look, right here. I'm physically.
You got to give the quotation marks.
So it's not.
End quote.
Oh,
I feel like him and Jeremy Pruitt are probably in the same Sunday school class.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they probably were in the same special ed classes together. I think both them boys got a little touch
Butch
of the Jones
the teacher.
but yeah, Butch is teaching them. Let me show you how to fold pizza boxes.
Hi, my name is Butch Jones, and I'm your Masonry 2 teacher. We're going to show you how to lay bricks.
Brick by brick.
I mean, he might as well go into brick land because he sure as hell can't coach.
Like I said, I mean, I think you're a closet Tennessee fan.
I think he's.
Some people wanted to fire Heupel day 2 before he even took a game, and now he's like God.
Tito's been in Nashville too long, and so I see orange rubbing off on him all the time.
At least it ain't gold.
I asked him where his Notre Dame hat was.
I was talking about Vanderbilt, but anyway.
Oh, no. Saturday was a little cloudy but beautiful 72-degree day in which the cardiologists were loving their upcoming appointments with everyone's blood pressure for the 3-hour and 49-minute game that went
pro tip
right to the wire.
Fish oil pills.
Do what?
I said I took a fish oil pill before the game. Pro tip. Still in fiber, you'll shit your guts out. Oops, excuse me, but it'll lower your blood pressure. Go ahead and beep that one out. Go ahead and save it on the time.
That's okay.
I said one bad word. My bad.
So they have a little trouble holding on to the ball. They do. But let's bring up some stats first, and then we'll talk some opinions here. Normal for them with their 27 first downs. That's what they averaged this year, 27, 28, right around in there. Total yards, 100 less, dead on the money, 100 less than last week, and not winning the yardage game, which is okay. Third down conversions, I like seeing that they were a little closer this time around, and Florida just barely over 500 on that. Fourth down conversions, the number dropped as far as the attempts. The still, guys, after 4 games, we are still 100% in the red zone.
That's impressive.
That's just
kicking university, baby.
That's just insane.
Always has been.
Well, that we only 6 for 6. One of those was a field goal. All the rest were touchdowns. Fantastic.
That's pretty good.
Fantastic. 227 yards on the ground. Both Florida and Tennessee had 42 attempts, where Florida only had 141 yards. Our average per rush was 5.4 to Florida's 3.4, so you start to see a little bit of the pulling away right there. They did have 453 passing yards to Tennessee's 349. The attempts, and you start hearing commentators going, it's Anthony Richardson's best day. He was 24 for 45 and an interception, where Hooker was 22 for 28, 0 interceptions. Now I'm starting to get on the Hooker train. You've heard me talk about he's still having problems. He doesn't run as efficiently as they make it out to be. 22 for 28, 0 is fantastic. And of those 227 rushing yards, 127 of them were his.
Yeah, he had a great game. Yeah, Hooker really did. I mean, he showed up. I mean, Richardson had a great game as well. Both quarterbacks played really well during this game. But I think my biggest takeaway from the game is I really thought that Tennessee's biggest weakness was going to be their run defense, and Florida has 3 really good running backs, and I thought that they were going to be able to run the ball right down Tennessee's throat, but Tennessee committed to stopping the run, and they forced Richardson to beat them.
To pass. I mean, look at the attempts. 44 attempts. I mean, they forced him to pass the ball, which he knows one style of pass. Hard.
He had some pretty good touch on a couple deep balls, especially that one on the 4th down play.
Yes.
But that was some touch, and that wasn't like a laser beam.
I mean, 24 for 44. That's not great, and he only had 62 total rushing yards himself.
He led the team too, right? I think
he did lead the team.
Yeah,
yes, he did.
Yeah. Florida gave up on the run pretty early in that game. They just, I just don't understand. They kept trying to run right up the middle on Tennessee, and I didn't
football.
I just didn't understand it. I mean, they've got that Florida's got that Johnson kid who's got elite speed, and it's like you really didn't try to get him on the outside to try to make something happen. They just kept running the ball straight between the tackles, and Tennessee
they don't give up a lot of runs around the outside. So I think it was a plan. If you look into previous games, even with Pitt, if they were able, offensive line, able to open it up a hair, you usually can skirt right through the middle. The middle is Tennessee's weakness, and especially with passing, as we all saw. The middle is the weakness. But they just couldn't do it. The offensive line couldn't do it and couldn't get a push.
I mean, I think Florida's longest run was like that 12-yard touchdown pass around when they shut off when they were going around the right side. I don't know if that was in the second quarter or third, but I think that was the longest run. It was like third down.
The longest was 14 yards from ETN.
Yeah, it had to be that touchdown run then.
Yeah. I was really surprised that Tennessee was able to. That they really stepped up and they committed themselves to stopping the run. And that's what we talked about last week. Is Tennessee's defense is getting progressively better.
Where Richardson and Florida, I thought, was able to do well is we saw Tennessee getting better about getting in the backfield and starting to improve on their sacks and tackles for loss, which they did not do. They only had one sack for a 4-yard loss. And they only had 4 tackles behind the line for only 9 yards, something like that. Florida did better. They had 5 for 19 yards and 3 sacks for 15 yards. So they definitely were able to get in and pressure and get on Hooker more than Tennessee in on him.
Yeah, and hats off to Hooker because that kid took a beating. He
is.
He took some serious shots, and I really didn't think that he was going to. I didn't think he was going to come back after halftime. When
he went in with the shoulder, yeah,
you could tell that he was hurt. Like he
still ran at 99 yards down y'all's hind end before the half was over.
He was hurt. You could tell by the look on his face that he was seriously hurt.
You got to go with the Dukes line for Bud Kilmer. He went in the tent, and got his shot.
Oh yeah, that's exactly. That is he went in there, got his varsity blues shot, and he's back. They shot him up with some morphine. They put him back out there. Probably not morphine. That's probably not the right one. But
needle goes anywhere near him, I'm gonna rip your legs off, and beat you with them. So Tennessee skirting one off, just barely. It was hilarious because I'm sitting there watching. There's no place like watching. At Neyland, of course, is great. Checker Neyland. Hey, we break the curse of Checker and Neyland.
I don't believe in that crap.
The orange
for one
and
second.
blah blah blah.
If you think that's crap, Peyton Manning should never be allowed on campus again. If y'all believe in that crap, because I don't.
Hey, it was out there, so we have to go with the curse is now broke. Start all over. Another great place to watch it is Bellagio Sportsbook. And sit there and see all the gambling action around you. That's in Vegas.
Were you in Vegas?
Yes, I was.
Oh, thanks for the invite.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you want to go to Vegas? So pretty awesome. And down to the wire, and I'm sitting there watching, and I go, "Watch this! They're gonna let them score. They're playing back, trying to play a little deep, prevent defense. Gonna let them just troll in, and then they scored. And I said, "Watch this! I bet you they onside kick and get it."
Yep.
It was a miraculous
that was a great play. Perfect
play.
Bounce.
I mean, luck is with Florida always. They're the luckiest freaking team alive. It bounces up and Shaq goes up and gets it.
My heart was ready for having the most Tennessee football game of all time. I was ready to be Tennessee. I'm like, you know what? I'm 34 years old. It's happened for the last half of my life. It's been this way, and I'm okay. Like, I have come to peace with it because who's really upset right now? Not just Florida fans, Kentucky fans. They're mad because they're like, "Dang it, we have a good team for once, and who else is pretty good this year? The Vols. We can't get away from Kentucky.
Can't get away.
Mad.
We're definitely going to talk about Kentucky.
I would say Lee Corso's mad, but he's about as bad as Joe Biden when it comes to talking on the mic. So he's not. But ESPN's mad. I mean, everybody hates Tennessee because we have to be. Luke would probably even agree. Top 5 most loyal fan bases.
Oh yeah.
And when we're good. Yeah. We're always a-holes, but when we're good, we're major a-holes.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't say
we round first base and throw the birds.
Yeah, quotation marks here. I wouldn't say that we're like we are much better than what we were supposed to be. I still wouldn't say we're good. We're still improving. I mean, I still think that Georgia blows the doors off of us. I think Bama might be a good game, but Bama wins. I think we'll lose to Kentucky.
I think Bama will be one of the best Bama games in a while.
I mean, the last good one is when we had Lane Kiffin as the coach.
We have to keep things healthy. Really good.
Brew McCoy.
Brew McCoy, 102
was the
yards.
Steal of the transfer portal for anybody, for every team, not just us, for anybody. Steal the transfer portal was Brew McCoy. It's not Bo Nix in Oregon, guaranteed, even though he played pretty well yesterday.
No. 5 receptions, 102 yards, one of those being 70 yards and a touchdown. Fantastic for him to step up and everyone.
Did you see his quote after the game?
No.
I can't. I mean, this is not verbatim, but it was something like he didn't know what he was getting himself into, but it's like the best decision he's ever made is to come play at UT. Which that's obviously that's going to make the fan base feel good. Now whether he truly means it or not, I mean, it feels like I hear something like that. But if I was them too, I would try to pump up the fan base too.
Did he have last week he kept having penalties as far as pushing off, blocking too early, holding. He had some problems last week, and just where I was watching the game, I couldn't really pay attention to that. But did he seem to have those problems this week, or he get them fixed?
I don't think our receiving corps got called for a single foul all game, if I remember correctly. Is that right, Luke? I don't think we got called for an offensive holding. Maybe once.
No, I think maybe once.
That's on the tight end though. The same dude that fumbled the ball. Wanted to pull his jersey down.
I mean, we had some serious penalties. To Florida was 10 penalties for 47 yards. We only had 6 penalties, but it was for 50 yards.
Your boy Napier about stroked out on the sideline, and I don't know what he was so mad about. Like, what was he so like? Why was he so mad?
I was like, look at that. Florida coach is just like the players.
He probably doesn't
remind me
know.
of Steve Spurrier.
He probably didn't even know. He's probably mad about something. He probably thought that there was some play that should have been called that was perfectly legal, but he doesn't even know the rules, because anybody that's stupid enough to go for 2 in the third quarter when there's no reason for it whatsoever. Like,
I can't remember what it was. We challenged something that was clearly like overturned, like reversible, and he just went nuclear.
Goes flying out. Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was about. I was like, what is this man doing? He's mad at what?
I tell you what, though, if Tennessee fans, if there's one person, if there's a group that they should be most thankful for, it has got to be Florida secondary. Tennessee scored 2 touchdowns on completely blown coverage. where there was literally not a Florida defender within 40 yards of a wide receiver.
I was
and it's
going
like
10, 15, 40.
I mean, it's like how does that happen? Like, I mean, you're sitting there and it's showing a wide open Tennessee receiver, and you don't even see a blue jersey in the frame. Like, it's like they're taking up a fifth of the field, and there's not a blue jersey anywhere to be seen. And it's like, how does I can understand that happening once. Yeah, you know, things get confusing. Tennessee runs at fast tempo. I can understand it happening once, but it happened 3 different times, and two of those times were for like 70-yard games.
Yeah, that one wheel play at the end of the game, I was watching. I'm like, there is nobody within 40 yards of this guy.
Yeah. I mean, how I just don't understand how on a team that is, you know, a top 25 ranked team, how you can have that happen multiple times in a game.
Well, because they shouldn't have been ranked top 25. We said last
Well,
week.
yeah,
We said last week
That's
why they were sitting at 20.
That's debatable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I still think they're top
do have a
25
point
team.
there.
I still think they're top 25 team.
But
They finished 4th in the East. They might finish 3rd.
I tell you,
They're not a top 25 team.
This tells you how bad Florida's secondary is. Trey Dean could not start for Middle Tennessee, and that kid has been starting at Florida in the secondary for 3 years. Like, that kid, I don't think he can.
That's on your boy Dan Mullen then.
Oh, I don't understand how that guy keeps winding up on the field. And, you know, Florida used to have this long lineage of incredible DB.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was for 15 years. Even in their kind of down years, they still had an incredible safety and at least one corner that was a first-round draft pick. And now they have nothing, and that a lot of that is true, Brad. That goes to Dan Mullen, his just piss poor recruiting over the years.
But I don't know if your boy Napier is that much better of a recruiter.
I don't think he is either. Like
I mean, there's like I heard the guys on the coverage talking about. He's just so cool, calm, and collective. He's even keeled, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, is this Sling Blade as a coach?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's.
I mean,
I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, he's Florida's head coach? I mean, how did he get it?
The most shocking thing to me is when he got hired, I was like, okay, you know, they're going to go with a little no-name, like a guy that's kind of like
Tennessee.
Yes.
Yeah, and I thought,
Let's be honest.
I thought they were going to pay him like $2 million a year. He's making the same amount of money as Lane Kiffin is. Like,
he turned down. I think we tried to get him, right?
Did we go?
The Lord works in mysterious ways, but I think we tried to get him.
Well, y'all can have him.
No, we're good. We just got to make sure we can pay Heupel, which we can. We better.
I mean, y'all can have him for free. We don't even want any money for him. Y'all can have him for free.
They extended Heupel's contract to 2028.
That doesn't mean nothing. If somebody like Oklahoma comes in here, no, I'm just using it. I know that's a bad example because that's right, but they offer him $5 million a year. I quit. I mean, he can't. I don't think he can have a non-compete sign. I don't think you can sign a non-compete. Well, I guess Bush Jones did, right? Well, we fired him.
Well, he just couldn't take another job without forfeiting, which is why he became Nick Saban's coffee boy for a couple of years.
But I mean, I don't think that Heupel can sign a non-compete. I don't think that's I mean, I guess it's negotiable. I mean, I'm always worried about that kind of stuff going on.
Increases his salary from $4 million to $5 million and includes raise for his staff. So he makes $5 million right now.
A year, or that's for the contract term?
A year. Per year.
Yeah, and Billy Napier is making $2 million or more than Heupel is.
And so, with some more wins, they're gonna have.
Well, we're still paying Pruitt too. Well, not really.
No, we're not. No, he was fired with cause.
You know what? He needs to sign a deal with McDonald's.
Pruitt.
That would be fantastic marketing.
We're
Call it the Pruitt sack.
on that. Pruitt sack. Before we go, I would like to say from the Duke myself, thank you so much. We have hit over 30,000 views in our 1 year of YouTube, which I know is not crap. A lot of people.
We're just a bunch of bums.
A lot of people do that per episode.
We do this for fun. We just do this for fun.
We do appreciate that. That was actually a couple weeks ago, so we've gone past that. But
Luke's been a part of a lot of those too. So thanks from Luke too. Don't forget him.
Thanks from Luke as well. If it wasn't for Florida, Tennessee wouldn't be what it is. All right, guys. You know where we are. We are where you are at TN Fan Talk. See you next week.
Give me a V.
Bring in Lane Kiffin to Florida.